Guys, heavily requested video, the Galaxy Note 10 Plus versus the iPhone 14 Pro. How does an older flagship stack up to a newer flagship? I think most people are curious about the speed and the camera still, so we're going to go ahead and do that for you guys. First, let's go over the specs real quick. We got the Snapdragon 855, 12 gigs of RAM, SD card support, and this has iOS 16, the A16 chip, 128 gigs of internal storage, 6 gigs of RAM, no SD card support, of course, and we are on Android 12 on the Note. Alright, so let's go ahead and just open up the Geekbench score so you guys can see what we're working with here. So you can see big score difference here. So let's just see how that translates. We should see somewhat of a noticeable difference, hopefully. Let's go ahead and get started here. We'll just do some basic stuff. We'll do the phone. Pretty much the same. We'll go ahead and do YouTube. Again, the Note sort of gets in on top there a little bit faster than the iPhone. Let's try Instagram. Pretty much a tie there. So you guys can see, actually not too big of a difference here. So we should see somewhat of a difference when it comes to launching games. Okay, so that was a little bit of a difference, but actually not that big of a difference though. So I was expecting to kind of see a more dramatic difference, but I've always said this, the Snapdragon 855 is like an excellent chip, guys. Really, really fast. So even compared to the latest chip, you're not really seeing that big of a difference. Unless you're just really into speed, right? I don't think your average person would really notice. Again, the Note. So the Note even coming in on top on some of these, I think the iPhone is just in general going to load up games a bit faster. Oh my God, I hate those. All right, forget that one. Actually, let's just retry that one. Should not get the pop-ups now. Okay, they were still pretty much close. Almost, really. So this actually ended up being way closer than I expected. Let's go ahead and do PUBG. Now, surprisingly, your gaming experience is going to be pretty much the same for the casual gamer, right? If you are a more hardcore gamer, yes, of course, that extra power that the A16 is going to give you, it will really show in games like Genshin, games that are just super strong. But we can see it got in there really quickly for PUBG right there. Note 10 Plus now just gets in, and you actually play at the same exact settings. For right now, both these phones are able to play at HDR Extreme. So if we just go ahead and look at PUBG, the settings here, there was a 90 frames option on the iPhone, but it's not here. I'm sure it'll come back after some optimization. But yeah, so PUBG runs really smooth. Again, the Note 10 Plus just plays excellently, also at HDR Extreme. So again, you really won't notice that big of a difference when it comes to performance as far as gaming and stuff like that, unless you're like a hardcore gamer. So next was the camera. So let's go over the specs of the cameras because I know people were curious about that. So we have a triple camera setup on the Note, 12 megapixel standard, 12 megapixel telephoto 2x, and then a 16 megapixel ultra wide, and then it has a 0.3 depth sensor. It shoots in 4K 60, and then a 10 megapixel selfie cam that shoots in 4K 60 as well. The iPhone does have the new 48 megapixel standard. It's also got 12 megapixel telephoto, does 3x, and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide. It does have a macro mode, and then it shoots in 4K 60 on the front and back. And then you have a 12 megapixel selfie cam on here as well too. So check out the side-by-side stills. What do you guys think? Do you guys see a big improvement? Alright guys, here's the video on the Note. Here's the 2X. And here's the 0.5. Alright guys, here is the video on the 14. It's a 2X. And here is the 3X. There's also the 0.5. Alright guys, let's talk about the display designs here. So the Note 10 Plus has just a very futuristic display, especially for it being such an older flagship. It does have a full 1440p display on here. It's a dynamic AMOLED, HDR10 Plus, 6.8 inches, 1440p, like I said, 498 for the PPI. There is no 120 hertz on here though. You do have on the 14, and if you want to get the Pro Max version, it'll be the same size as the Note, but the display design obviously will still be the same. It's LTPO, XDR OLED display, 120 hertz, HDR10, actually one of the brightest displays you can get right now, and it is a 1179 by 2556 resolution, 460 for the PPI. Obviously the big difference here is the punch hole versus Apple's new pill-shaped cutout, which it does look much better than the notch in terms of like watching videos and stuff like that, as you guys can see. But yeah, I just really like the look of the Note. I just think it looks super immersive. I just prefer, you know, the smaller intrusion than it's almost like maybe like 5 of the punch holes, maybe 1, 2, yeah, maybe like 5 or 4 of the punch holes. So yeah, so I do really like that. But like I said, you might like the 120 hertz because it does feel smooth. You definitely notice that when scrolling and swiping and stuff like YouTube and stuff like that. But overall, for the displays, you have 2 really great displays on these 2 phones. Let's go ahead and check out the speaker quality difference, max volume, starting with the Note. So they're actually about the same in terms of volume, but the iPhone does have a much deeper and punchier bass to it as well. So that's something that definitely stands out to me. It seems like the mids and highs are a little bit more crispier on the Note. Yeah, the iPhone sort of goes for a more bass heavy type of sound. Also, just talking about some additional features, obviously you have the S Pen on the Note. If you did not know, basically if you want to just navigate with the pen, or you want to do like drawing or digital artwork, then you definitely will like having a Note. So that's definitely one thing to consider as well. And also the Galaxy phones have a few additional features, like the wireless power sharing mode where you could charge another device on the back of your phone, Samsung desktop support, secure folders, just a ton of very fun stuff. And also, let's talk about the security or biometrics. The iPhone only has face unlock, which works very, very well. But the Note also gives you face unlock, but it also gives you a in-display fingerprint sensor as well. So I always like having like double the options or 2 options personally, but just know that they're both very fast. They both have NFC, they both have wireless charging, so you know, they're both very much feature packed. Alright guys, so for the battery situation, both these phones actually have very good battery life. I'm still able to get 6 hours of screen on time on my Note pretty easily. This phone does have a 4,300 milliamp battery, and you actually have 45 watt charging on the Note 10 Plus, which is really nice, so it charges really fast. And then on the iPhone, it does have a 3,200 milliamp battery, and then it has the MagSafe fast wireless charging. as well, which is a really nice, cool little thing. So you can sort of like stick stuff to the back of this phone. So basically, battery life is going to be great on both of these phones. So be sure to let me know, what do you guys think, and I will catch you guys in the next one.